very critical of the fact that my community didn't do enough, and if anything, it sided against the Ahmadiyya community, or our leaders sided against that. But nevertheless, we, the new generation, now will reconcile those mistakes which were made, and hope to establish that peace, and those which are those concrete recommendations which we have up here. It's very imperative that we kind of look at these recommendations, because normally we come away from these events but we don't know what we're asking for. And this is something which will also hopefully disseminate this information. This PowerPoint will be kept, and we've got a speaker's abstract as well which will be submitted. So for anyone who would like to receive that, you can submit your emails outside. Our next speaker, it brings me great pleasure to actually invite Sister Rubab onto the stage. But before that, to put short biography, Sister Rubab is a great inspiration to myself. Even the fact that she was a child prodigy when she came to the UK to study law, much younger than her other counterparts, and graduated much younger as well, if I'm right in saying so. She was a campaigner at university, campaigner ever since, and an activist fighting for the rights of all minorities within Pakistan. She refers to herself as Muslim, and one of the key things which, by profession, she is a corporate lawyer. She knows what she's talking about, just like Khalil Yusuf. And she's just returned back from the 25th United Nations breakout on human rights. And this was in Geneva. It was a parallel event, and she was representing, for the first time, the Shia community were given a space to present. And she was one of the key people in that delegation. So we're very, very fortunate to have Sister Rubab with us. And one of the things which she should also mention to me is that where are the other minority sects being represented? Once again, Minority Reports is a series of events. But hopefully, Sister Rubab will be talking about the Shia persecutions. I'd like to welcome the chairman of the International Imam Hussain Council, Sister Rubab, to the stage. Can you please welcome her with a round of applause?
I would like to thank Zainawan and his team for inviting us and giving us this opportunity. And how do you follow something like that? I'd like to thank my brother for the wonderful contribution that he made. Unfortunately, I do not, Zain very kindly read out my bio, and I do not have, I think it was probably to do with the fact that I was in Geneva when this was being, we do not have a presentation, but I will try to do my best to give you the picture, and I've been asked to inform you about the plight of the Shia Muslims in Pakistan. Over the last 20 years, around 21,000 Shia Muslims have been assassinated. Around in 2000, I'm not talking about isolated and individual attacks of terrorism. In 2012 and 2013 alone, 458 attacks have been made on the Shia. More than 458 attacks have been made on the Shia. In 2012 and 2013 alone, Shias found themselves digging more than 10 mass graves. Some people like to call it sectarian, and I beg to differ, because there is no tit-for-tat violence. People are not hitting each other with bricks and sticks. If a truck full of explosives crosses all security points and explodes itself onto innocent people, then you will all agree that that is not sectarianism, it is terrorism. And the same people who are carrying out these atrocities, the same people who are carrying out these atrocities, they have promised to go on carrying their vile acts until, I quote, "we rid Pakistan of the unclean Shia population." it is the same militants. The irony is that Pakistan was founded by a Shia Muslim. But bringing you back to the point of militancy, you will all agree that bombs exploding, all these targeted killings, the fact that this is not tit-for-tat violence, this is not people fighting people, this is militancy. The same people in the media have openly and proudly claimed responsibility for attacks on the Ahmadiyya, for attacks on the Christians, for attacks on the Hindus. It is not Shia blood that is being spilled. It is an attack on the vibrance and the diversity of Pakistan. And what these people want is for their one Taliban-style version of Islam to be implemented throughout Pakistan. What these people have been asking openly for, and my brother, he referred to hate speech. They are free to operate their Twitter accounts, on Facebook, through pamphlets, through mosques. What they have been demanding for is for all the key positions in the country to be dedicated to Sunni Muslims. Of course, this is their style of Sunni Muslims, because they have also been attacking Sufis. A large majority of Sunnis in Pakistan are the people who they call Barelvis. So they have been carrying out attacks on them also. So of course, their version of Sunnis should hold the key positions in Pakistan, like the Prime Minister, the President, the Chief Ministers. They have been attacking Shia professionals. And what we have now is widows going door to door seeking shelter, orphans suffering from PTSD cannot be treated, elders struggling with medical bills. They are attacking our lives and livelihood and pushing us into a vicious circle of poverty, which would be very difficult to come out of. Creating this marginalization and going into a pattern which is very similar to how the Nazis operated before the Holocaust. I must say that this mindset and this carrying out of atrocities on the Shia is not unique to Pakistan. Shias have similarly been attacked in Iraq, they've been attacked in Syria, they've been attacked in Indonesia, they have been outlawed in Malaysia. It's a criminal offense to be a Shia now in Malaysia. So the mindset behind these atrocities is not unique to Pakistan. And very quickly, I do not have a presentation, but very quickly I would request you all to read the policy department research of the European Parliament to see who the sponsors of the terrorism are. To see the report of the University of Pennsylvania, which points out to which particular sect do 95% of the terrorists come from. And these sponsors of terrorism, who are sponsoring terrorism throughout the world, in Pakistan, they are removing our vibrance, our diversity, through more than 150,000 madrasas. These madrasas, 150,000 madrasas, and most of them, 95% of them, are being taught this one version of Islam that does not tolerate any dissenting voices. More than 11,000 of these madrasas have been declared sensitive. They are like a state within a state. They are militant. But if we as human rights defenders talk about inspecting their premises, if we talk about regulating them, if we talk about regulating their syllabus, then recently, in presence of the Saudi ambassador, what did the Darul Uloom Deoband say? That there will be a civil war in the country if somebody talks about regulating the madrasa. Now I am an educated people. Please tell me that threatening the entire country with a civil war, is this not treason? But nobody has been brought to court for it. nobody has bothered lifting a finger on these people because they are so powerful. The people who are being set to the gallows, the people who are being hung because of these discriminatory laws are the Christians. They are the Ahmedis. They are the people who made and who created Pakistan. And whatever is happening, these 21,000 people who have been killed, not one single person has been brought to justice. And all I would like to say is, what we need is a cross-party, what Pakistan needs for its integrity is a cross-party consensus on tackling terrorism and victims and how to look after the victims of terrorism also. What is happening, as my brother said, is in clear breach of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, Article 3, Article 18. This squarely also falls in the ambit of Article 2 of relating to genocide. But above all, this is against the Constitution of Pakistan. What these people are trying to do, even a blind person can see this, is that they are trying to break Pakistan. They are trying to create mayhem in Pakistan, and they are the enemies of Pakistan. And I would like to assure my brothers today, who are representing the different minorities, and I would like to agree that we are not a minority. We are the creators of Pakistan. And although those who we are fighting against are powerful, they are the ones with money, they are the ones with influence, but we stand here today and we will resist and we will persist in reclaiming Pakistan and reclaiming its diversity and reclaiming the colors of Pakistan until the last man stands.
Thank you for that very powerful speech, Sister Rubab. Definitely, just to reiterate, the vibrancy and diversity of Pakistan. And that's what I used to remember when going to Pakistan as a child and seeing all the different diversity in even my city of Gujar Khan, where we had Sikh community and a Hindu community living side by side. For our next speaker, before we do, I just want to remind everyone that there is a hashtag which is minority reports. So if you are tweeting, please do tweet using that hashtag. Our next speaker, just bear with me, I'm just getting up the speaker's